Also für uns war in der Planung für den Markt relativ.
So for us it was clear relatively quickly in the planning of the supermarket that we would replace the floor completely. And there, through our tiling contractor René Baltes, the contact with Deutsche Steinzeug was established. And also the idea of the new system of Drytile. And of course, just when we closed the supermarket completely for a long time, the time factor during the rebuilding phase has been crucial. The decisive factors today for the supermarket are, of course, the people, our employees, and of course the ambience, the furnishings. When you renovate, for example, as here in this supermarket, the floor is always the bottleneck. This means that when the floor is laid, you can't walk on it for 3 to 4 days. You can work on dry tile while laying without any problems. Not with heavy loads, but you can paint the ceiling, you can fix the lighting, etc. And in the end, all you have to do is let it rest for 24 hours after we've grouted. But think about it, just 24 hours, then the work can go on. And that is the huge advantage. That is the time saving. But also the tiler can lay at a completely different speed. So at a construction site like this of about 2,000 square meters, we usually plan 2 to 3 weeks for the laying. Now in this case, we were done after 4 days. The customer ultimately saves twice as much time. On the one hand, we are faster and therefore finished much earlier, and the other, subsequent trades can continue to work on the surface immediately while we are still working. Well, the cork isn't cheap, nor is the joint. The cost-benefit factor is the speed, because we're up to 8 times faster. This means that the tiler can lay many more square meters in the same time. And we can also work with other people, with floor layers who have previously laid parquet, laminate or carpet, because for this they need the same skills. It starts with the fact that we didn't have to close the store for long. We kept it closed for 2.5 weeks, and that was good for our customers. With normal tiles, this would have taken at least a week longer. The subsurface must be extremely good. The system is ingenious, but it tolerates only slight unevenness. For this construction site in particular, we purchased a large new remote-controlled floor grinding machine to remove the last unevenness, and if necessary, you have to level the floor. So we found that laying the floor is very easy if the floor is very well prepared. But we also found that grouting is more difficult because the grout, as I said at the beginning, is the secret of this floor. And in this respect, we have done the following. We've trained people on how to do it right. That is, we don't hand over the material to a tiler or floor layer who wants to lay dry tile until we have trained him. And once we have trained him, he'll do it perfectly. You've seen it here. I think it only took us 4 or 5 days and the whole place was done. We worked on the product for a very long time. We developed it over 5 years because we always believed that we had to improve the cork layer. In the end, the joint was the secret. This means that the joint holds the entire tile surface together, and that is our breakthrough. Now we're ready for the market. Otherwise we wouldn't have dared to do this in this fine supermarket.
kann im Prinzip überall dort eingesetzt werden, wo...
In principle, it can be used wherever ceramics are desired. In other words, we want to focus on areas where speed is an advantage, in car dealerships, and of course in high-quality supermarkets. But we will also target fashion stores. We want to use Drytile everywhere where you have to lay very quickly, but also where you have the option to change the tiles in shorter cycles. A conventionally laid tile can last up to 30 years, while with Drytile you can decide after 10 years to replace the floor, because maybe the corporate design has changed. For example, at car dealerships, which would otherwise have to invest a great deal of time and effort to change their floor coverings. Personally, I was thrilled to see at the end that only one pallet of residual material and packaging waste was left over. As a rule, 1 to 2 large containers are filled with foil, plastic and even adhesive bags, which are not needed for such a size. All that is left is the pallet's tensioning strap and a foil hood, and the wood of the pallets. That's it.
In
principle, the whole product, i.e. the tile, the cork and the joint, is a natural product. This means that you can dispose of everything in the end as normal building rubble. You have no problems whatsoever with environmental pollution. You don't have the problem like vinyl or laminate, for example, where you end up with plasticizers or ingredients that cannot decompose ecologically. Remember, vinyl today is either disposed of thermally or it is shredded into nanoparticles and ends up in our shampoo and eventually in our water cycle. In this respect, with Drytile, we have an ideal ecological product. You can't choose anything greener, no matter what you compare it with, laminate, carpet or whatever. Yes, our hope is quite simply that the target groups will realize that this is an incredible speed improvement. Well, we're talking to a lot of users who say, if I have enough time, I don't need it. But of course, if I have time pressure because I want to reopen my dealership or grocery store in a few days, Drytile is ideal. And you must not forget, while we work, the other trades can paint the walls, hang the ceilings or fix lighting. And that's the big advantage. I believe that we have a great opportunity wherever time is of the essence, or where short intervals play a role. With Drytile, you lay a new floor concept on your old floor within 2 to 3 days, and when the corporate design changes in 10 years, you simply take the floor out and have no problem anymore. It will be out in 2 days, and you can even dispose of it in an ecologically sound way.
On
the first day, we had a funny situation. At the start, we had 2 fully loaded trucks in the yard, and then we began laying. We laid and laid. At some point, I sent an employee out to get new tiles. He came back amazed and said, "There is nothing left." I said, "There's nothing left? We did get 2 trucks, didn't we?" And he said, "Yes, we've moved them all." And then we took a look, and we actually had them all inside. And so we could have a coffee break until the next truck arrived. Yes, we felt very well advised by AGROB BUCHTAL.